Well, I think that my constituents have been contacting me about 9 to 1 supporting what I've done. Obviously, there are some people in southeastern Wisconsin who are frustrated because they had the hope of new jobs, held up to them, and they're understandably frustrated. But most people that I represent believe, as the polls broadly show Wisconsinites believing, that mining is okay in Wisconsin. Some 52 or 53% of the populace believes that, but 80% say not at the expense of the environment. What I attempted to do was to do exactly what the mining company asked. Senator Jelk and I worked very hard to condense the timeline, provide for more certainty, and we even were willing to give up one contested case in the exploratory phase of the mining company's activities. What we weren't willing to do was to put the little guy in Wisconsin on the defensive against the DNR and the mining companies. They have all the experts, and the burden of proof should be on them, not the little person in Wisconsin who just has a concern. In addition to that, having a contested case before the permits are issued provides for an opportunity to improve the permits, and I think for that reason alone, you have really two opportunities here to say why that contested case that was offered as a compromise yesterday was just unacceptable. And then finally, with regard to the environmental issues, look, our mining law has served us fairly well for several decades. We have had a mine opened and closed during that period of time. We do know that after that period of time, it's reasonable to revisit those statutes, but if we're going to do it, we should do it in the open. We should do it with experts present. And the way the mining bill was created originally had a table that was open to the entire public, and it had attorneys and experts for the mining company opposed to attorneys and experts for environmental groups and the DNR all hashing out and coming to a consensus. That's what I think was an important principle. And the way this was done in the bill is it suddenly became a bottom line at the end of the negotiations when no one was willing to mention it for months. So the door is still open. Every member of the body voted to return the bill to Senate org. You don't see that very often. It shows the legislature is, I think, willing to do some talking, and beyond that, I don't know what else I can say. Well, I hadn't talked to them for probably a week, but I know Senator Jelk spoke with them 24 hours ahead of time with no indication there was a bottom line at all. In fact, on those environmental issues and the contested case, they didn't ever mention it publicly in their comments before committees, nor did they send us anything in writing saying those were bottom line issues for us. So yes, it was a little, as I think Senator Jelk said, bizarre, but look, it's frustrating when you watch the laws being written, and if you're hoping to get a competitive situation between two states, things happen. But my dealings with the mining company were cordial and reasonable all the way along. I just wish they had been more open and upfront about what they really want. First of all, I think there's a fallacious notion to what you said, that an iron mine is inherently safer or perfectly safe compared to a sulfide mine. In the case of the mining project that everybody has been talking about in the Pinokies, there is no way we can say that there isn't sulfur in the overburden without first doing a test. So to suddenly somehow or another suggest and elevate iron mining above and beyond very important rules that we have put in place and have met the test of time, I think is a mistake. And that was the comments that I made on the floor about legislative findings. Well, I think that mining in the Bad River watershed area, I can't tell you exactly where the mines were located. In the past was underground mining. That's a very different animal than an open pit. The mine that we were talking about in the Pinokies would have been 8 miles long, 1,000 feet deep, and approximately a half mile wide. That's an enormous amount of we have our own set of mining laws here, and they are good laws. I think there's plenty of evidence that the federal government has not done such a good job with its mining laws. And my feeling is that that we can't just compare and mix and match.